Hello and good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is The Advocate, and today I've got a very different kind of video for you guys as I'm going to do something I've never done on this channel, and that is an unboxing slash potential TBR video. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I typically don't like to do these types of videos as I personally prefer to watch videos of people who are reviewing or delving into books that they personally have read, as opposed to watching videos on books that the creator has not yet read but intends to read at some point in the future. But the circumstances asked for it because over this past weekend, my significant other and I, we actually spent time at a place called Whidbey Island here in Washington State in the Pacific Coast of the United States. And we delved into quite a few bookstores and delved into quite a few libraries during our time there. And one of the libraries we checked out was actually having a charity sale to help support the library by selling these packages of mystery books where you don't really know what's inside. You just pay $5, and in exchange, you get 5 books all wrapped up neatly in this newspaper gift wrapping. And the surprise is like, oh, what books are you going to get for your $5? All of which happen to be murder mystery novels, as the theme of the weekend was murder mystery. So I thought I'd check out what books I got, and if there's anything of note or anything that potentially interests me, or perhaps anything that potentially interests you guys as well, I would be keen to add said books that I unwrap here onto my TBR potentially for 2026. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and unwrap the mystery and see what we got. All right, so we've unwrapped our present here, and we're now taking a look at these 5 books. I actually didn't know that these were used books, which is totally fine. I'm totally all for recycling books and reusing books. And just from the looks of these, I don't think I've read any single one of these, but let's take a look at them one by one. We've got A Blind Eye by G.M. Ford. If any of you guys have read this book or any of these books, feel free to let me know down in the comments section below what your thoughts are on whatever book you have read, what your thoughts are on that particular book, and also whether or not you'd like me to add it to my TBR and potentially do a book review on it. So we've got A Blind Eye, G.M. Ford, a novel of suspense, of course, keeping in line with the mystery box, mystery novels. Beneath the rotting floorboards of an abandoned shed are human bones, lots of them. The last things a runaway rogue true crime writer and his photojournalist ex-lover expected to find when they took shelter from vicious Wisconsin blizzard. So a murder mystery, basically coming across a couple of corpses, not realizing how they got there, and trying to figure out the mystery of how whatever was inside the shed became bones. So seems kind of interesting. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I like this type of murder mystery. I prefer a murder mystery where it's more of like I'm not sure if the POVs in this book are actually going to be the suspects, but I prefer it when the POVs within the book are suspects of a crime, and then you kind of have to try to piece together whether or not those POV suspects actually did the crime. So this book doesn't appeal to me too much, but if it's really good and you guys recommend it, I might take a look at it. So that's A Blind Eye by G.M. Ford. Let's see, we have The Alpine Legacy, an Emma Lord mystery by Mary Dahim. Again, I've not heard of this book or actually this author as well. I don't think I've heard of any of these authors. We might get into a familiar name here sooner rather than later, but as far as these first 2 books are concerned, I've not heard of any of them. Anyway, this one says, Kill the Competition. Emma Lord, editor and publisher of the Alpine Advocate, has never faced such a cruel competition, especially not the fierce personal attacks mounted by Alpine's new radical publication, Crystal Clear. So when Crystal Bird, the editor, commits suicide, Emma sheds no tears. But Sheriff Milo Dodge determines that Crystal was murdered, and the little town is out for blood, namely Emma's. Pursued by hate mail and flying bricks, Emma vows to draw some blood herself from the enemy who set her up to take the fall. So this already appeals to me a little bit more than A Blind Eye, just kind of stumbling upon a couple of corpses, it's fine. But this second one, you actually have the main character being a suspect of the crime that they did or did not commit. So already this appeals to me a little bit more than A Blind Eye. But again, we'll see if this is something that you guys have read in the past, The Alpine Legacy, and you'd like me to delve into it. Definitely let me know, or just let me know your thoughts on this book in general. We've got Shroud for a Nightingale by P.D. James. Again, another book I've not heard of yet, nor an author that I've heard of yet. All these books, just based on the covers and the cover art, seem to be a little bit of an older style book, older style narratives, but that's totally okay. I'm up for reading some classic murder mystery if there is interest. So this one, Murder and Medicine Made Strange Bedfellows. Two hospital nurses lay dead. The great hospital nursing school of Nightingale House was shadowed with terror, and a secret medical world of sex, shame, and scandal was about to be exposed as Adam Dalgliesh of Scotland Yard probed ever deeper into the macabre mystery. Someone was prescribing murder as the cure for all ills, and it was up to the indomitable Dalgliesh to unmask a killer who operated as skillfully as the surgeon before the epidemic of evil got completely out of hand. So already, based on some of the cliched words that are used here in this summarized description, I can already tell this might be a bit more of a tropey book, a bit more of a book that delves into cliches and tropes that I'm not super big on. I personally prefer my literature to, I'm going to sound like a snob, but I personally prefer my books to be a little bit more kind of outside the box, a little bit not abiding by these tropes so often. So this book doesn't seem like it will appeal to me too much. The medical setting is slightly intriguing, especially because right now I'm currently watching the second season of The Pit. So I've been really just on this kick on ER dramas and medical stuff and combine that with a murder mystery that should be a slam dunk. But personally, for me, this already seems like it might not appeal to me too much. But if you guys are interested in Shroud for a Nightingale, or if you've read Shroud for a Nightingale and you absolutely think it's the best book ever, definitely let me know, and I'd be keen to do a book review on it and check it out. We've got Murder in Volume by D.R. Meredith, and already I really like the watercolor kind of art cover that we've got for this book. It's also just super interesting that we've also got the dead body there. I don't see that very often in covers where you've got, a corpse on the front cover of the book of a murder mystery. That's actually kind of cool. I respect that. This one seems very colorful. I actually like the colors of this artwork. It seems like it might be a little bit more middle grade just based off of the font style of this text, but I'm just judging a book by its cover. I'm literally judging a book by its cover. I have no idea. So let's see. A mystery reading group meddles in murder. Murder in Volume. The mystery lovers who belong to the Murder by the Yard book group have strong opinions about their favorite authors and series. Some prefer classic Christie capers, while others devour the novels of modern mystery Madame Sue Grafton. As leader of the vociferous and diverse bunch, Megan Clark must referee the group's heated debates. But when a particularly antagonistic woman is murdered after a meeting at Time and Again bookstore, Megan and the other group members are prime suspects. Looking to their favorite sleuths for inspiration, the mystery fans launch an investigation and discover that this brutal crime is just one chapter in a disturbing and deadly plot. Interesting. Uh, so the only one of these names that I'm familiar with is Christie for Agatha Christie. I have no idea who Sue Grafton is, but this seems cute. Seems interesting. The that the prime suspects are the people that actually delve into murder mystery novels. That's kind of cute. It's not something that I would ordinarily read, but then again, I should probably be a little bit more open minded instead of just reading the same old adult fantasy and adult science fiction books. So, if this is something that appeals to you guys and you think it'd be worth me delving into, definitely let me know. This is again Murder in Volume by D.R. Meredith. And last but not least, we've got The Thousand Islands by Randy Wayne White. Already, just based on how this book looks, it looks like a like a textbook I would get in school for like I don't know, like maybe like a physics textbook or like a science textbook where you've got this like really cool background image and in the front it's like, oh, just a reminder you're in school, the science of the world or something like that. And it's like, oh, that's right, this is for school. And then you'd open it up and it's like, here's how the mitochondria works, here's how the protons work, which does sound interesting, but this type of cover brings back bad memories of school. So, The Thousand Islands by Randy Wayne White, and this one is about Florida attracts conmen and predators. It always has. It always will. 15 years ago, in the labyrinth of mangroves, sawgrass, and swamp called the Thousand Islands, off Florida's Gulf Coast, a 15-year-old girl with a gift for finding things unearthed a 4-century-old gold medallion, a relic of the Clausa Indians. Then she began having nightmares. And then she was found hanging from the limb of a tree. Ah! This person either commits suicide or is hanged for finding this ancient Native American artifact. An accident ruled the coroner, but now Doc Ford isn't so sure. Strange things have been happening recently. The girl's mother tells me. Her home has been broken into. The phone rings and there's no one there. And worst of all, Her daughter's grave has been dug up. Somebody suddenly wants that medallion. But why? And why now? So this seems to be a mix of a few things. We've got some Native American history here, combined with a little bit of a murder mystery, combined with a bit of a thriller as to like, oh, I got to go on this quest and solve all these Native American puzzles to try to find the culprit in this medallion, which is an interesting mix of a bunch of genres. I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. Again, I sound like such a downer throughout this video. Typically, when I've read books that are a genre mishmash, despite them trying to be balanced in their approach, they typically lean more heavily towards one genre than they do towards the other. So something tells me this might be weighed more heavily towards the adventure aspect, less so on the murder mystery, which is fine. Like, I totally love my adventure books, and I also love my murder mystery, so that'd be an interesting combination. But in tandem, I don't know if these genres would work well together. I don't know what the balance would be like, but again, I'm just judging this based off of the summary and the cover. So if you guys have read The Thousand Islands by Randy Wainwright and you have nothing but positive things to say about this book, definitely let me know, and I'd love to check it out at some point. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the 5 books that I gift unwrapped from my surprise gift wrap box that included 5 surprise murder mystery novels. So, truth be told, if I was just kind of looking at these books at a random bookstore and I happened to come across these 5 particular books, I probably wouldn't pick any of these up. Now, that might speak more to my own closed mindedness, as I should probably open my mind more, as the A Song of Ice and Fire series has kind of ruined me a bit because now all I want to devour is adult fantasy, adult speculative fiction, adult science fiction books, more so than any other genre of books. But even if I was in a murder mystery kick, I don't know if I would necessarily gravitate towards these books, but hey, who knows, if any of these books personally appeals to you, if I'm like talking nonsense and you're like, what the heck, advocate? Shroud for a Nightingale is a surprise sleeper hit. It's one of the greatest books I've ever read. You totally should check this one out. Or maybe, I'm going a little too hard on 10,000 Islands and you think it's one of the best books ever, then definitely let me know down in the comment section below to hear your thoughts on whether or not I should read any of these books and whether or not I'm going a little too hard on some of these books more so than others. But they might be worth it. They might be worth a read. I think I don't have any plans on adding any of these 5 to my TBR personally for 2026, but again, I am willing to change my mind. But until then, thank you all so very much for watching this video to the very end. I truly do appreciate each and every single one of you. Go ahead and give me a like, comment, and subscribe if you so choose to in order to help support this channel and help me defeat the evil YouTube algorithm that tries to murder me every chance it gets. I'm going to unwind that murder mystery that is the YouTube algorithm one of these days. Stay tuned for more book fun here on the BookTube Advocate channel. And until next time, The Advocate, out.